Avodah Zarah, page 27. We are 12 lines from the top of the page. First and foremost, the historical context. We always should remind ourselves that the text of the Talmud is a text that was written approximately about 1700 years ago, which unfortunately, as far as the Jewish persecution and the situation of those Jewish groups were very different than what we understand today in 2018. And therefore, question like someone who's in a danger ill, does he or she allowed to be healed, be treated by an idolater surgeon who may kill the person out of hatred? I don't know how far and how much we go in that level of enmity that they have in those days. But we're going to touch with Igrot Moshe, the late Rabbi Moshe Weisblum, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, responsa over the issue of Safek Nefashot. If you're saving someone's life even for a short period of time, how far you go with that if you know that eventually the patient is going to die. Another subject we're going to discuss today is the women's right to do Brit Milah. As you know, in Jewish law, when the baby is 8 days old, we have the circumcision. We have some implication in the Torah that Tzipporah, the wife of Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, did at least the first part of the circumcision of her two sons. The question is, as women can do it with halacha. Furthermore, the concept of lishma, which we discussed yesterday, such as doing the tefillin, putting the hand tefillin, the head tefillin, a person needs to do it lishma. When a scribe writes a scroll, he needs to have for the purpose of writing Sefer Torah. The same with matzah. When a person eats matzah in Pesach, has to be for the purpose of eating matzah. The question is, since the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah 28 said that mitzvot tzrichot kavana, when it's come to fulfillment of mitzvot, we need to have our full intent. The question is how far you go. If, for example, the father is obligated to do the brit of his son, so the question is, if he is not in intent to do it, is still fulfill the mitzvah. The whole concept of having a idolater doing circumcision or doing any form of healing is a big part of our discussion today. Chayei Sha'ah, if someone, for example, on Shabbat, it's a big mapolet, it's a, like, God forbid, earthquake or things like that, and you know that people are not going to survive, do you allow to go on Shabbat and dig in order to save people maybe few moments or maybe several hours of their lives? How far you go with the concept of Chayei Sha'ah? So here we are, page 27, 12 lines from the top of the page. To explain yesterday, it was the Samaritans who live in the Mount Gerizim, and unfortunately when they performed the Brit Milah, the circumcision, their kavanah, their intent was for the idol worship that was on that place at Mount Gerizim, which obviously it's shelo lishma, it's not for the purpose of Brit Milah. The whole argument which we discussed yesterday was Rabbi Yossi, who said that you do not have a clear source from the Torah that Brit Milah needs to be lishma. Amar Rav Chizda ma'itama de Rabbi Yehuda. Why Rabbi Yehuda hold that if someone perform Brit Milah shelo lishma, without the intent, it's not accepted, it's not valid. So dichtiv, because they said in the book of Shmot, chapter 12, V'chi yagur igtcha ger v'asa pesach laHashem himol kol zachar. The pasuk said that when you have ve'az igrav la'asot, which means a person cannot have the Paschal lamb when one of his sons or his Canaanite servant did not circumcise, and obviously if he was not circumcised. So LaHashem, it's kind of separate. But because Samaritan, for example, the Kuti, that circumcised for the purpose of idol worshipping in Har Gerizim, that make it disqualified to do Brit Milah. So the Rabbi Yossi, Himol, Yimol. Rabbi Yossi said because they said twice in the pasuk, he must circumcise. Double verb teach us that circumcision may be performed by anyone. So it means it's not enough that Rabbi Yossi did not accept the view of Rabbi Yehuda, even bring a source that they do not have to have the Brit Milah Lishma for that purpose. Ve'idach, or some said Rabbi Yossi, Haktiv LaHashem Yimol. So they said, Ahu bePesach Ktiv. It's not speak about Brit Milah. They said Rashi hold that is the Korban Pesach, the Paschal Lamb, needs to be for the purpose of God. Ve'idach nami aktiv himol himol. So again, Dibrat Torah kilshon adam, the Torah speak in the language of people, which is an anthropomorphic expression, using human expression. The double verb is the usual style of the Torah. It is not serve to teach any specific novel of halacha. So it's like when a person, Torat Chaim in Bava Metzia 31 explain that when someone wants to ask someone to be a more vigilant and persevere, is just repeat twice the order. Itmar minayin lemilah b'oved kochavim shehi psula. How do you know the Brit Milah, circumcision made by idol worshipper, is not valid? Daru bar Papa Mishmei de Rav Amar, because the Torah said in the book of Bereshit, chapter 17, verse 9, in Parashat Lech Lecha, Ve'ata et briti tishmor. As for you, you shall keep my covenant. Now, because the pasuk said, Ata ve'zaracha acharecha, you and your future generation, you derive from that you descendants and not idol worshippers. Rabbi Yochanan, himol yimol, because they said they double himol yimol, he must be circumcised. It means that a Jew needs to be circumcised. He can do a circumcision upon others. Now the Kesef Mishnah in L'chot Milah chapter 2 hold that b'diavad, in a hindsight, if the idol worshipper did the Milah, it's okay. It's only rabbinic boundary, because it was all kind of background that it can damage the baby. My benai, what's the difference between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan? Because according to both of them, a Brit Milah that performed by idolater, it's not valid. So they said, Arvi mahul v'gavnuni mahul ika benaihu. So the difference is, if you have a circumcised Arab or circumcised Hill person, so so those man de amar himol himol ika. So as long as they're circumcised, they can do it for others. Man de amar et briti shemo leika, because they're not part of descendants of Abraham. Ki biyitzchak yikra lecha zara. The Gemara in Sanhedrin 59 specifies that it has to be a descendants of those. The Ritva said that, since Gavnunim, they are descendants of Keturah, so that therefore there is a notion that they are fitting to do Brit for Israel. But Reb Chaim and Shas, Shagrach al Shas, Peizayin, explained on us. Roman de Amar, Himol Yimol Ika, which is Aravi that circumcised, and Gavnuni can do the circumcision, but none. Learn Mishnah in Tractate Nedarim, page 31b. Konam she'ani nehena min ha'arelim, which is a person forbid himself for anyone who's not circumcised. Mutar ba'arelei Israel, he can derive benefit for people who are Jew who are not circumcised yet. ואסור במולא עובדי כוכבים, but he's prohibited for those who are already circumcised among the idol worshippers. Alma, you derive from that, אף על גב דמהילי, that idol worshippers, even they do the ברית מילה, כמאן דלא מהילי דמו. So we treated them as people who not have a circumcision. אלא איכא בניו, what's the real difference? The difference is, ישראל שמתו אחיו מחמת מילה, God forbid a person that have his brother passed away because of the brit, and therefore velo maluhu, for the fear that he may be, it's because the halacha, it's important for you to know that if God forbid a woman have several kids, and unfortunately 2 of her sons die because of the brit milah. So we by halacha do not circumcise the 3rd sign, but we need to wait, that's Gemara in Yevamot 64b, until he grow up and be strong, and therefore if those sons were circumcised not as a babies but as a mature adult and they die, so therefore the 3rd one is totally free from doing the circumcision. So what you see here is the case of Israel kasher, that he is arel begadluto, that is uncircumcised as advanced age. More on that is Nekudat HaKesef in Yoreh De'ah 264. Leman de'amar, according to Rab, that said that the source is ve'ata et briti tishmor, meaning you and your future generation, as God commanded Abraham. Ika, which is a Jew that is not circumcised because his oldest brother passed away, he is part of descendants of Abraham. Leman de'amar, according to Rabbi Yochanan, said that the source is himol yimol, that is written double times, leika, so he is unfit for taking the brit, because he is not circumcised. ולמאן דאמר הימול ימול ליקה ואתנן, קונם שאני נהנה ממולים אסור בערלי ישראל. Because all Israel, including those who are uncircumcised, is part of מולים. ומותר במולי עובדי כוכבים. עלמא אף על גב דלא מהילי, כמאן דמהילי דמו. That even they are not circumcised, they are nevertheless considered as those who are circumcised. אלא איכא בניו אישה. And that's a very fascinating discussion. Woman, is she befitting to do the brit or not? The man damar, according to Rav, that said that the source of the idol worshippers, that if he did the circumcision, it's not valid, is from the source, ve'atayit british tishmor, that God said to Abraham, you should keep my covenant. Leika, so therefore women are not befitting to do brit milah. The isha lav bat milah hi, because obviously women are not subject to the mitzvah of circumcision, and therefore she is not included in those who must keep the God's covenant. Uleman da'amar, according to Rabbi Yochanan, they said that the source is in double words, himol yimol, he must be circumcised. So ika, she is fitting to do a brit. The isha keman dimhila damya, because a woman is considered as one who is naturally circumcised. So there is a disputation among the Rishonim, Machloket HaRishonim, if woman kshera lamul or lo kshera lamul, if she woman befitting to do brit or not. We have Rif, Rabbeinu Alfasi in Tractate Shabbat, Perek Tish'asar, chapter 19. You see also in the Rabbeinu Asher, the Rosh, over there in Siman Yud Aleph, you see the Ran, the Ritva. Here also, follow halacha, pasku halacha ki Rabbi Yochanan, that isha kshera lamud, that woman befitting to do brit milah. And you see it also at the Baal Halachot Gdolot, that Tosfot at the very end of the daf mention that. You see the Dibur HaMatchil v'isha v'lav bart milahi. So they said here, Ela Baal Halachot Gdolot pasak d'isha kshera lamud. Right? So that's one view. The Rambam in Perek Bet, 2nd chapter, Halachot Aleph Bet, hold the same. The Machloket Rav and Rabbi Yochanan, Halacha ki Rabbi Yochanan. So the Isha Kshera Lamud. Why? Because the whole reason of Rabbi Yochanan is what? Himol. So Isha, as we said, Keman de Behila Damya. However, Tosfot Kan, here the Tosfot at the beginning, in this Dibur HaMatchil, Isha Lav Bar Milai, and you see the same other Rishonim, rule Pasku Halacha she'ein Isha Kshera Lamul. Why? So Tam, we bring in the brighter. You see what Tosfot said? יש לפסוק כרב ואין אישה כשרה למול אף על גב די רב רבי יוחנן הלכה כרבי יוחנן הלכה כרב דברייתא דרבי יונשיא קיימא כבתי. So this is according to Rabbi Yonasi, זה והתאי בריתית ישמו. So אישה פסולה, she's not בכלל חייבת ברית, אין בה והתאי בריתית ישמו. So גאון רב חיים bring that is a difference between chiyuv or not chiyuv. But as you see, the maskana, you see it's a machloket harishonim if woman is befitting or not. You see the Rif and Rosh and Balachot Gdolot, in the Ritva, you see here the Tosfot. Anyway, it's a disputation. Mi kaleman damar isha lo. Mi kaleman damar isha lo. So the Vaktiv Vatikach Tzipora Sor, that's a famous source. See in the Torah how Tzipora, the wife of Moshe, went from Mitzrayim with his sons and wife. The angel wants to kill him in Shmot chapter 4, verse 24. And Tzipora, his wife, understand that it's because the sons were not circumcised, because Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid from the journey and the dangerous to do it. And because it was 3 days, it was she took tzor and she right away. So it means that isha kshera le'mul. So they said kareba vatikach, which means that she asked a shaliach, an angel, to do it on her behalf. V'aktiv vatichrot, they said that she cut. Kareba vatichrat, de'amra li'inish acharina v'avad, she asked someone else to do it on her behalf. That's one version. There is another tirutz, v'baytema at ya'iva atachala v'at Moshe ve'agmera. That's the common explanation, that she came and began the act, and Moshe Rabbeinu came and completed the act of circumcision. Now the Mishnah. So now the Mishnah continued the list of those who are prohibited to do, to occupy themselves with the Avodat Kochavim. So the Mishnah said, one second, מתרפאים בהן ריפוי ממון, אבל לא ריפוי נפשות. The Mishnah continue with the law regarding the using a veterinarian, doctor or barber who is an idolater. So they said, we may receive medical treatment from idolater for our possessions, which is our animals. אבל לא ריפוי נפשות. But not, we may not receive treatment for our personal illnesses, out of concern that the idolater may be murderer the patient, which is, we are concerned that the idolater will administer a treatment that will kill the patient rather than heal him or her. However, we may receive medical treatment from an idolater that if he is known to be a skilled physician, since he should not risk ruining his reputation. That's most of the Mefarshim hold, that he will be careful. ואין מסתפרין בהם בכל מקום דברי רבי מאיר. We may not take haircuts from idolater in any place, even the place where other people are present, because we are concerned that the idolater might kill the Jew with the razor. That's Tosfot Yom Tov explained that Rabbi Meir is concerned that an idolater will murder the Jew even when others are present. והחכמים אומרים, however, the sages hold, ברשות הרבים מותר, אבל לא בינו לבינו. The sages say, in a public area it is permitted to take a haircut from idolaters because they are afraid to commit murder where other people are present. But it is not permitted to take a haircut from them in private because they are not afraid to commit murder in private. So the basic idea is that when the sages prohibit taking a haircut from an idolater in private, it cannot mean that the Jew is totally alone with the idolater, because in any case one may never be alone with an idolater, as we have seen in the previous Mishnah. Rather, in private refers to any place where other people are not always present. That's the Tosfot Yom Tov. Since the idolater hold a razor in hand, we are concerned that if he is left alone with the Jew for even a moment, he may slit the Jew's throat. It's hard to believe, but that's the way they live in the persecution. That, in fact, you see the Bach and the Shach and Yordea 156 that said that for this reason we need to be concerned only if the barber is using a razor, not if he's using a scissors. But if you want to see other exception to this law, you can read in the Shulchan Aruch and Ramah with the commentary, as we say, Yoredea 156. So when you don't have nochechut acherim, you don't have others, it's sakana. Man ripui mamon, umay ripui nefashot. What is a monetary treatment and what is a personal treatment? So they said, Ilay ma ripui mamon besachar, ripui nefashot bechinam. So his personal treatment is medical attention provided for free. So what does that mean? So Rashi said here, Klomar, me'atzmo menafsho, הוא עושה כמו אם יש את נפשכם בדעתכם. So I think what Rashi meant here, that the Mishnah prohibited a person to depend upon an idolater when it's come to a medical treatment, when he does that for free. If he take money, that's a different story, because he will be concerned about his livelihood if he behave like that. But anyway, litnei, שלא נדע הלכה, מתרפאים בהם בשכר אבל לא בחינם, אלא ריפוי ממון דבר שאין בו סכנה, ריפוי נפשות דבר שיש בו סכנה. So you have to differentiate between something that involved with dangerous versus something that it's not involved in life-threatening, dangerous situation. ואמר רב יהודה אפילו רבתה דסוך ליטה לא מיתן סינן מנהיהו. So he said that even with regard to wound, in those days they used to do a blooding incision. That's nowadays is when they're taking blood, right? We are not permitted to treat by idolaters. The wound left after the bloodletting certainly does not post life-threatening situation, dangerous, and yet a Jew is prohibited from having it treated by an idolater. אלא ריפוי ממון בהמתו, ריפוי נפשות גופי. When it's come to a monetary treatment, that's the medical doctor does for his animal, like veterinarian. When it's come to ripui nefashot as a personal treatment, that's a different story. That's gufei, that's himself. That's so it means that you're allowed to use a veterinarian idolater for your animals, but that's it, but not for yourself. Even if something that may be a life-threatening situation. That's the way the Rambam and Ritva understand Rashi here. Even the using the incision of this bloodletting, we don't deal with them. Bloodletting incision, we're not permitted to be treated by them. Now the Gemara limited, circumscribes the ruling of the Mishnah. All this idolater that does this medical treatment applies, aval im amarlo sam ploni yafe, but if the idolater said to him such and such a medical treatment is beneficial for the alignment, sam ploni yafe lo, sam ploni ra lo, mutar. So he said that such and such it's harmful for you, such and such is permitted for you, so you're allowed to follow his words. And you see more on that, the Rambam, Ilchot Rotzeach Ushmirat HaNefesh, chapter 12, he said it is permitted to seek a idolater physician's advice with regard to the use of practical substance to treat one's current alignment, in according to opinion of Rav Chizda. Nevertheless, and that's the Shulchan Aruch Yerodea 155, one may not accept medicine directly from him. Again, in the historical context, there was a lot of concerns. Page 27b, Savar, that the reason that is lenient, it's said, Shayulei Mash'el Lo, that the physician think, the idolater physician think to himself that the Jew is asking him for his view, It's like Rashi said, since he asked him for his view, Hai Yisrael midelo bai leitzei minai lo samich ale v'sheol kamayef l'nasoti im omer le'emet. So went to check if he tell me the truth or not. Ki echad hamishal lo mashal ha'in shachrine. You know, second opinion, as we all know. Ve'ata hu gavra lo ru nafshe. You figure out that person harm himself if you fool around and make a mistake. Bala Maor and Miri said this is the source that you can ask for opinion and you can compare. Anyway. Amar Rabba, and some say Rava. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, V'amre la Amar Rav Chizda, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Safek Chai v'Safek Met. Here we enter the Sugya, as we said, at Yeve Igo et Moshe, in Yoredea, Maran, Rabbi Moshe Weisblum, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, in Yoredea, Chelek Sheni, Nunchet, 58, he deal with all this idea of Safek Pikuach Nefesh. Safek Chai, Safek Met. You're not sure if is going to make it or not. En mitrapim mehem. So he said that the idolater Rabbi Yochanan said, we suspected them to be a bloodshed people. And he basically can cause to expedite the demise of a person. So therefore he says, if he's not a fellow Jew, a doctor, or expert among the non-Jews, and if the patient have a chance to survive without medical treatment, it's better to live without medical treatment. Maybe he will survive, rather than to take from an expert idolater treatment, because that guy can really do harm to him. Vadai met mitrapim mehem. But if it's certain that he will die from his affliction if he does not receive immediate medical attention, so the patient is treated by those idolaters, as it's possible that the idolater physician may save him. So again, we have to know that in the historical context that they are looking to get rid of our people. But anyway, so Gemara asks, Met, if it's clear that this this patient is about to die, Ha'ika chayei sha'a. This is a well-known subject in Halacha. There is a temporal life, which is it is preferable for a Jew to live as long as his alignment permits, rather than to risking premature death at the hand of the idolater physician. As we know, we're not allowed by Halacha to expedite the demise. Even Rashi said we knew that eventually a person will die, but even he live for short time, let's say for several days, we're not allowed to do even a passive euthanasia to expedite the demise of a person. You see, the late Rav Oldenburg in Tzitz Eliezer have a lot about it. So they said, Lechayei sha'a lo chai shinan. We're not concerned with the value of temporal life when there is a possibility of a permanent recovery, and therefore it's preferable to receive medical attention from an idolater despite the risks involved. So how do you derive that you're not concerned about temporal life when is a chance to expand the life of a person for long? Because they said in the second book of Kings chapter 7, so here we have a well-known story about the time it was Yehoram, king of Israel. There was a tremendous famine, and it was a siege around the cities, and it was 4 people who are leper. Since they cannot be in a city, they are in exclusion, they stay outside of the cities, they are contaminated. So they early in the morning, they went to the enemy, the Machaneh Aram, the Aramean, and and basically they're ready to kill themselves because they figure out, they better die this than die with the famine. Very hard to comprehend the sorrow of that time. So even they can survive in the time in between. So again, the Igrot Moshe in Yoredea, Chelek Gimel Lamed Vav, deal a lot, even as a small chance, how far you go with this. Meitive, only great luminary like Rabbi Feinstein can reach that level of responding to those questions. We always said that anyone who have this type of questions should go only to the top. Now time we have David Feinstein, we have people in that caliber that can answer this type of questions. Meitive, lo yisavi iten adam im aminin. So they say that a person should not engage in dealing with heretics. Obviously there are few explanations, but Tosfot Reed and Ramban explain that because it was rabbinic enactment that we should not get healed from a heretic, even as someone who is dangerously or terminally ill, ואין מתרפאים בהם אפילו לחיי שעה, even for temporarily time. מעשה, this is unbelievable story, מעשה בבן דמך, בן אחותו של רבי ישמעאל שהקישו נחש. There's unfortunately that a snake beat him. ובא יעקב איש כפר סחניה לרפו. So it was a person that was heretic came and tried to heal him. ולא הניחו רבי ישמעאל. רבי ישמעאל, because of this decree, not let him do it. So Tosfot said that the whole idea that they dwell a person to heresy or appreciate that, we should stay away. ואמר לו, בן דמאס said to רבי ישמעאל, רבי ישמעאל אחי, הנח לו ורפא ממנו. ואני אביא מקרא מן התורה שהוא מותר ולא הספיק לגמור את הדבר עד שעשתה נשמתו ומת. So he not finished his statement before his soul departed from him and he died. קרא עליו רבי ישמעאל, אשריך בן דמה שגופך טהור ויצא נשמתך בטהרה. Praiseworthy is you, Ben Dama, that you soul departed in purity and you did not transgress the statement of you colleagues who state the pasuk ולא עברת על דברי חבריך. אשריך בן דמה שגופך טהור ויצא נשמתך בטהרה ולא עברת על דברי חבריך שהיו אומרים הוא פורץ גרד דר ישחרר נחש. They said in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 10 that anyone who's break through a fence, a snake may bite him. So Gemara said, Shani minut de mashcha. The atelimim shach batrayu. Heresy is different because it is enticing. It is prohibited to accept medical treatment from a heretic, as one might come to be drawn after his heresy. However, receiving medical treatment from a idolater is permitted if it's certain that one will die if he is not treated. אמר מר לא עברת על דברי חבריך שאומרים פורץ גדר ישכן נחש היא אונה מחיוויית תרקי חיוויה דרבנן דלת לעשות הכלל that is no remedy for that. So now they go back to the statement of Ben Dama that he can bring a proof from the Torah that he can get treatment from him. מה הבל למימר? They said, "V'chai b'hem v'lo she'yamut b'hem." So the Torah said that the person should live, and in general, God wants us to live and not die by them. So it means that that's the source of halakha, that one may violate a prohibition in order to save a life. Again, this is type of things that we have to ask a permanent posek if a question like that come up. Rabbi Ishmael הנמילה בצנעה, אבל בפרסיה לא. It's all of that applies in private, but not public. דתניא הרבי ישמעאל אומר מניין שאם אדם אומרים לו לאדם עבוד עבודת כוכבים ואל תהרג, שיעבור ואל תהרג. As you know, we have 7 universal laws, and we have 3 that is יהרג ואל יעבור. עבודה זרה, גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים. So one of them is this, עבודה זרה, שיעבוד ואל יהרג. תלמוד לומר, וחי בהם ולא שימות בהם. יכול אפילו בפרסיה, תלמוד לומר ולא יחללו את שם קודשי. So in short, because they said you not profane my name, we understand that it is prohibited. But here is the halachot, 2 important halachot. One is it is prohibited to be treated by a heretic in all cases, lest others be drawn after his beliefs. Nevertheless, a Jew may accept treatment from a healer who provides medical aid using incantations. This applies only if the healer does not mention the name of his deity in his incantation. If a deity is mentioned, one must die rather than allow himself to be treated. Furthermore, in Yoreh De'ah 155 they said, accepting treatment from a healer who is a heretic is always prohibited, as it is presumed that he will invoke the name of a deity in the course of his treatment. So this matter applies only in private. The three cardinal sins, bloodsheds, idolatry, and forbidden sexual relations may not be violated even at the cost of one life. This applies both in private and public. All the other sins will be transgressed in order to save one's life, even in public. Nevertheless, if a non-Jew attempt to force a Jew to transgress a particular prohibition for the express purpose of causing him to violate the Torah, one must sacrifice his own life rather than desecrate God's name in public. In private, it is permitted for one to transgress the prohibition, that's Tosfot, although he may choose to be killed instead. That's the Rabbeinu Yerucham and the Rosh. But you see more in Shulchan Aruch Yoreh De'ah 157. This ruling is according to the opinion of the sages who disagree with Rabbi Ishmael on Sanhedrin, page 74.